I hope you're gonna stay around for the sermon, because I really do think it's not an exaggeration to call Gettysburg a shrine and a sanctuary. I don't think that's an exaggeration.
We want to point out, Reverends, that missile stand is made from wood that in the pew when it was a hospital in 1863.
Yeah. My, oh my, you know the story. The St. Francis Xavier downtown actually was turned into a clinic. It was like a MASH unit for the wounded on both sides. And the sister said, "We don't care what color they're wearing, bring them in. God doesn't care," which earned them a particular praise from President Lincoln. So we're proud of the work that the sisters did. I guess they probably came over from Emmitsburg, huh?
They did. Yes.
Because they were there since Mother Seton's time. Yeah. We think of Father Corby. We think of Archbishop Hughes. Now this is his cross. John Hughes was the first Archbishop of New York, my predecessor. He was not the first bishop of New York, but he became the first Archbishop of New York when New York became an archdiocese in 1850. This is his cross. He was raised at Emmitsburg, at Mount St. Mary's, and he was very close to Abraham Lincoln. In my house, I have a clock that Abraham Lincoln gave him. And Lincoln sent him, you probably know that Abraham Lincoln sent him to Europe to plead the cause of the Union to Pope Pius IX, because the Confederates had done the same. And President Lincoln was apprehensive lest the Holy See, the Pope, would recognize the Confederacy, because that would give kind of an added urgency and nobility to their cause. So John Hughes was close to Lincoln, and so I felt I should come. And Father Corby, who gave the Fighting 69th, which is the Irish Brigade from New York that we're very proud of. I understand they're going to be here today. Right?
Well, I'm right here.
So there he is. Excellent. You know, you've aged very well.
I attempt to.
You've aged very well.
We're actually at the President of Notre Dame came 2 weeks ago.
Did Father Jenkins? Okay.
He did a mass. We always,
beautiful.
Twice a year they do a mass here, and it's unbelievably the 50th, 100th, and the 150th. The President of Notre Dame has come to say.
I'll be. Well, you know the residence of the Holy Cross Fathers at Notre Dame University is called Corby Hall. So out of Father Corby, who after the Civil War became a president of Notre Dame University. So a lot of great Catholic connections here, and I'm honored to be here, and I'm happy you're here, and I hope you stay around. A blessed 4th of July weekend, everybody. I'm rather confident that you share with me a deep sense of honor, awe, reverence, patriotism, and gratitude as we worship the God of nations very near to a battlefield that our country rightly calls a shrine, which of course makes you and me pilgrims as we journey to a sanctuary to learn of the divine, the beyond, the sense of providential purpose that has made Americans both confident and humble. Isaiah the prophet spoke of Jerusalem, Mount Zion, in this Sabbath's first reading from God's holy word. As we here contemplate other hills, not Mount Zion, but hills called Seminary Ridge, Little Round Top, Cemetery Ridge, this 150th anniversary of the battle that, as Shelby Foote has observed, changed the term the United States from the plural to the singular. St. Paul's reference in his letter to the Galatians, our second reading this evening, mentions appropriately the cross of Christ and his holy wounds, concepts so readily clear as we close our eyes and reverently and somberly recall the tens of thousands of men killed and wounded on these very acres ever cardinal red in our national memory. And you know what, everybody? That's really what our pilgrimage to Gettysburg is all about. Memory. The memory of men nailed by either musket balls, bayonets, or explosives, whose blue or gray were insignificant to a God who cries at every war as he watches his children destined to love only hurt and harm one another. Both read the same Bible, both prayed to the same God, and each invokes his aid against the other. The memory of Catholic sisters who turned your own St. Francis Xavier Parish into an 1863 mass unit, binding up the nation's wounds on both sides, unconcerned whether they came from north or south. The memory of a Father Corby absolving his men of sins as they ran towards near certain fall. The memory of men who would write their moms and dads, their sisters and brothers and sweethearts, and use so glibly and so naturally vocabulary such as valor, honor, duty, sacrifice, loyalty, God, country. The memory of a president aptly named Abraham, who would christen these acres with phrases such as a new nation conceived in liberty, all men are created equal, this one nation under God. Every person, every people needs both memories and dreams. This battlefield stirs up both. As we assemble in obedience to the command Jesus himself gave us the very eve before he endured his own Gettysburg, his Gethsemane, his Golgotha. Do this in memory of me. Sloped on the hill, the mounds were green. Our center held that place of graves, and some still hold it in their swoon. And over these a glory waves. The warrior monument crashed in fight shall roar transfigured in loftier light, a meaning ampler bear. Soldier and priest with him in prayer have laid the stone, and every bone shall rest in honor there.